Zippity-doo-dah, zippity day. It's cold, cold, cold on this Thursday. Good to see you. It is the third day of November 2022. I am Dan Koontz, 30 degrees in downtown Wenatchee, and we're in the warm spot. Ellensburg, 22, Ephrata, 25, Moses Lake, 23, Manson, 28, Omak, 25, Palisades is at 20. It's cold out, and if you think it's cold now, wait till we get to the end of this week and into the early part of next week. We're going to see highs only in the mid-30s. In fact, our high temperatures are going to be where our low temperatures are supposed to be. And we're in for, this is going to be the calm before the storm, and then we have some very active winter-like weather coming our way. Begins really Friday afternoon. It's going to last for a long period of time. When you see these temperatures coming your way with the forecast, you got to go. You're going to go, what? Snow in the mountain passes. We could see some snow right here in the Wenatchee Valley. By the end of this week, Sunday and Monday, we'll give you all those details as we get to the weather forecast, which is really a big story, as you might imagine. It's hard to believe. I mean, it was just a couple weeks ago we were talking about record high temperatures. Now we're going to be talking about record low temperatures coming up. We'll have some news coming your way. Has a historic night in Philadelphia. A no-hitter in the World Series for just the second time ever. Highlights of that, Houston looked really good. We know there'll be at least 6 games in this year's World Series, and we'll preview the Wenatchee Panthers, who wrap up their football campaign tonight. They'll be in Spokane to take on University High. Eastmont will try and punch their ticket to the state playoffs tomorrow when they host the Richland Bombers. We'll have that game for you as well. And in the back half of the program, we begin our series of conversations with our good friends at the Wenatchee Wild. David Rayfield will be joining us. He handles promotions. Going to be talking about what's going on tomorrow night. The Wenatchee Wild will host the Merritt Centennials at the Town Toyota Center. And Austin Droughty is the brand new broadcasting voice of the Wenatchee Wild. Came here from Iowa a couple weeks ago. You'll get to know Austin in the back half of the program. Let's get going. 2 minutes after the hour. It's clear and it's cold. Let's go. Let's see what we have out there. With our cameras around the valley. Again, by this time next week, it'll be daylight because the daylight saving time comes to an end. We go back to standard time. Right now, it's dark and will be for a good half an hour. Sunrise this morning, 7:48. Sunset tonight, 5:40. 9 hours and 52 minutes of daylight. Good morning to the valley from up on the heights. Camera 2. Again, I don't know what camera it's going to be. The good captain throws it up, and then I have to give a pretty good guess. Ooh, that's cool. I want to say that's Lake Chelan. I want to say maybe that's the Upper Butte. That's a guess. I don't know. Perhaps the Bear Mountain camera, but I want to say the Upper Butte of Chelan. It is the Upper Butte of Chelan. Good morning, Chelan. You are at 29 degrees up at the lake on this Thursday morning. Everybody's going to be cold next week. We'll see temperatures in the teens next week for an extended period of time. Camera 3. Yeah, it's going to be like fall is going to be like just like that. It'll just be like 2 weeks of autumn, and then we'll go right into winter. That's a cool view. I want to say Blag Mountain looking down at Leavenworth, although I could be wrong. And confirmation from the good captain that what are we looking at down there, Captain? Oh, that's Antioch. So that is Waterville, the Waterville camera. Good morning, Antioch. I don't know why I said what I said. Good morning, Antioch, the gateway to recreation. And you can see the Antioch Valley. Hugh Tucker wants me to slow down a little bit. He didn't have the bolts tightened on his neck this morning, so he's kind of in a bad mood. Camera 4. And finally, camera 4. There we go. That looks to be the Upper Valley, the Cashmere, Peshast, Dryden area. And I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. So, and it looks a little fuzzy. That's the monitor camera. It looks a little fuzzy. The morning commute seems to be going okay. Of course, a lot of folks live in Cashmere and Dryden, but they work in the Wenatchee Valley. That's why you see a lot of headlights heading towards the valley and not too many taillights heading towards Cashmere. Ooh, he's moving the camera. We got some slides to show for you, folks. First of all, the first snow of the year is coming. This is updated from what we showed you yesterday. Now, we're going to be high and dry tonight and Friday morning, but other locations are going to get snow. As you can see in the Wenatchee Valley and the lower Columbia Basin, no snow is expected, but there will be a lot of snow in the Cascades. In fact, Stevens Pass is expecting 6 to 10 inches of snow tonight. Then it switches over to rain on Friday. They're going to have 2 to 3 inches of rain on Stevens Pass on Friday, and then more snow Saturday night, and Sunday. Stevens Pass is going to get the first real wallop of snow, and obviously it'll snow quite a bit up in the Mission Ridge area as well. So snow on Stevens Pass tonight, and then rain Friday, and then back to snow Saturday night, and right on into Sunday. And on top of that, windy. For the Wenatchee Valley, the wind will be really picking up right around sunset, just about kickoff tomorrow night for the football game. We're going to be dealing with not only a lot of rain, but we're going to have a lot of wind. These are wind gusts, not sustained winds, but we're going to see those rogue gusts coming through the valley at 30 to 35 miles an hour. Again, probably late in the afternoon, early evening. We're talking right around 6:30, 7 o'clock is when the wind will be picking up, and it'll be windy all night Friday night and into Saturday, and it'll be windy right through Saturday morning and really into Saturday afternoon as this significant early winter storm slides into the area. And right behind that, some very cold air is going to settle in all over the Pacific Northwest. By the time we get to Monday, we're only going to see afternoon highs in the mid-30s, and we're going to be lucky, and I mean lucky, to get to freezing for the high on Tuesday. Now, our normal overnight low is 35. That's going to be our high temperatures by the time we get to next week from the National Weather Service. One more day of not bad weather, partly sunny and a high of 47. We hit 46 yesterday. We'll be a little bit warmer than that. We'll have a little bit more sunshine. 36 for the overnight low. Then here comes the systems. Rain overnight tonight. Significant rain, maybe even a quarter of an inch of rain possible tonight. Then we dry out a little bit on Friday afternoon, and then the next band of rain comes Friday into Friday night. Again, a quarter of an inch possible tonight, an additional quarter to an inch, maybe even a half an inch of rain Friday afternoon into Friday night, right on into Saturday. That is a lot of rain for us. Saturday, the snow level is going to go all the way down to 1,800 feet. Overnight low on Saturday night, 29 degrees. Snow is possible early Sunday morning. You could wake up Sunday morning to some snow here in the valley. Now, it'll melt. I mean, we're going to get up to the upper 30s, but we could actually see snow on the valley floor when you get up Sunday morning. Thank goodness for the extra hour there. And then look at the temperatures. Well, high of 32. Overnight lows in the teens. Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and it's going to be hanging around, they say, for a while. It may just settle in there. Here you go, folks, all over the board, weather-wise, for the next 7 days. 8 minutes after the hour, a 60-second break, and then your headlines. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Dr. Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
This is Marjorie Taylor Greene. She says the massacre at Sandy Hook was staged. She claims there's no evidence terrorists hit the Pentagon on 9/11. She's even called for members of Congress to be executed. And this is Matt Larkin. He says he, quote, aligns with Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's why Matt Larkin is dangerous, because the last thing we need is another Marjorie Taylor Greene in Congress.
Businesses and individuals have trusted the experienced professionals at Financial Alternatives for their retirement and investment needs for 40 years. They offer a broad range of investments, annuities, and insurance solutions for people and businesses throughout Washington. Financial Alternatives will assist you in making informed decisions for your future. Call Financial Alternatives today and meet with their advisors.
It is 30 degrees in downtown Wenatchee, but it's downright balmy compared to some other locations in our viewing area. Partly sunny, mid-40s today. Rain comes in tonight. Rain pretty much all night tonight, most of the day on Friday. And as I just told you, Sunday morning, you could wake up to snow right here in the valley. 9 minutes after the hour, 2 16-year-old suspects have been arrested in that Sunday shooting in Moses Lake that killed one person, injured another. The Moses Lake Police Department said Wednesday one of the unidentified teen suspects was arrested Monday. The second was arrested yesterday morning when he turned himself in to the Grant County Juvenile Department in Ephrata. Both are charged with first-degree murder, first-degree assault, and theft of a firearm. The sheriff's office is calling this a targeted incident and not apparently gang-related. Police responded to a home at a trailer park in the 3000 block of Road H Northeast just before 6 a.m. Sunday morning. They found 20-year-old Auster Wagner had been shot several times. He was pronounced dead at the scene. A 17-year-old male was also shot. He was treated and released at Samaritan Hospital. Police say one of the two men suspected in the murder of Yair Flores back in August was also holding a massive stash of drugs. 27-year-old Javier Valdez, he was arrested in Walla Walla back on October 11th on a Chelan County warrant, charging him with aggravated first-degree murder. Police now say that when they arrested Valdez in a Walla Walla apartment, they found more than 11,000 fentanyl pills, 3 pounds of methamphetamine, and almost 2.5 ounces of cocaine. Valdez is accused of taking part in the murder of 18-year-old Yair Flores back on August 12th alongside Markel Leon Ford, who allegedly fired the gunshots that killed Flores while he laid in his bed. Ford is jailed in Chelan County. Valdez remains in the Walla Walla County Jail. He's waiting extradition and arraignment. Chelan County Commissioners will consider 5 finalists to fill the district court judgeship. 2 of the applicants are the same candidates who are running for election for the other district court seat. Judge Roy Four is retiring. Judge Kyle Mott announced that he would be leaving the bench last month to return to private practice, but he did so after the deadline passed for the election. And 2 of the men running for Four's position, John Volan and Ala Blackman, have both applied to be appointed to Mott's seat. The other finalists, 2 Chelan County deputy prosecutors, Ryan Vallis and Lee O'Brien, and a deputy Washington Attorney General, Dale Lerman. Chelan County Commissioners are expected to appoint a replacement for Mott after interviewing all the candidates on November 14th. And speaking of that, if you live in Chelan County, you're going to have a choice on Tuesday on who presides over traffic infractions, small claims cases, and other legal matters. Judge Roy Four, as we just told you, is retiring at the end of the year. And local attorneys Alan Blackman and John Volan are seeking to replace him. Blackman is a longtime deputy prosecutor. Volan is an attorney in private practice. They both sat down with me to talk about their qualifications for the job.
Well, I've been a prosecutor for 26 years. So I've been representing our community and been a public servant for 26 years, serving all of you folks. As for district court, I have an enormous amount of experience in there. I have over 16 years of experience in district court, handling thousands upon thousands of cases, and I don't know how many infraction hearings, and almost everything a district court judge would do. And so as a prosecutor, we're also only interested in justice, and that's our primary goal and our sole goal, really, as a prosecutor and representing everybody, is to do just that. A judge's role is very, very similar to that. Obviously, that I would argue on behalf of the citizens and the state, you know, in a case as a prosecutor. And as a judge, you're not an advocate for either. You're just a neutral arbiter. But the fact that what a prosecutor does and what the job entails leaves me highly qualified and probably exceptionally qualified to do this. So I believe I'm the best choice for this, and my experience speaks for itself.
I have been a trial lawyer for the last 22 years. I've done everything civil, everything criminal. So I've been a partner in really big firms. I've been a partner in small firms. I've been a sole practitioner. So I have tried and litigated every single sort of civil main issue. There's some specialty issues like bankruptcy that most lawyers don't do, but everything really out there on the civil side I've done and done at a high level. In district court, you see a lot of cases and there's a grab bag of issues. And you need to know things like contracts and wills and estates and insurance and injury, because these things all have an interplay. So it's important to have that background to be able to appropriately rule from the bench. But additionally, there's a skill set as a private attorney to representing individuals. So you have that face-to-face conversation with them about a legal context with their options in a framework where they can be very stressed and it can be very pressure laden for them. That's very similar to conversations that a judge has with people before him on the bench. And that's an important thing to bring to the table.
And Aurora Flores and Karnen Berggren are competing for the open seat of the Chelan County PUD Commission. In next Tuesday's election, the District 3 seat is currently held by Ann Congdon, who is not seeking re-election. Berggren is a former 2-term member of the PUD board. He's seeking to return to the board. Flores is a 22-year member of the Manson School Board. Grant Olson sat down with both candidates. Yesterday, you got to meet Aurora Flores. This morning, you get to meet Karnen Berggren.
With the issues that we're having in front of us over the next decade, 8 to 10 years. I thought it was really important that I probably should put my name in the hat, since she's retiring and also Dennis Bolts is retiring as well. And those are two long-term commissioners. They have a wealth of knowledge, and I worked with both of them. And I thought, well, that would be a good fit. I have some value left that I can actually bring to the PUD and help the transition.
Do you think that makes a better commission, Carnan, to have experience, or is it better to maybe sometimes get new blood in there for new ideas and things like that?
You know, I think new blood is important because it does stimulate the commission, but it's also good to have continuity in the commission as well. I think I am the first one that had ever served and then come back and run again.
Right.
And so the 8 years of experience allows me to hit the floor running. All right. And I mean, I've been there. I know the people that are working there. I worked with them for 8 years, did a lot of the strategic planning. And so I'm very familiar with those things. And a new commissioner, it takes years. It just takes years in order to get to a level that I'm at right now. 8 years, really. And so you don't have enough time to actually learn well, how would I characterize it? When you're elected, the train is running, and it doesn't stop, and you have to run to catch it. And that's the way it is until you finally catch up with things and start to understand them. I just think that we need to think about our utility and the benefits that we have, and that it's not guaranteed, okay? And that's why it's important to have good people on the commission that understand that our right to use the water on the Columbia River is given to us through legislation, through Olympia, and we need to protect that. It's been given to us. It can be taken away, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. And so we need to protect that, and so the green agenda is going to threaten some of this as we move forward if we don't take control of it and have knowledgeable people on it that understand how this whole system works.
And that's what's making news on this Thursday. And we'll have a newscast for you tonight. We always do, with Grant and Eric and Cal, and I don't know, we got a bunch of people who work in the bullpen. I go in there every once in a while, see what they're doing. With a preview of tonight's news, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, the first of two big storm systems headed our way. It'll arrive late today with rain and wind through Friday. The next one is on Sunday with possible snow. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Grantstrom has a look at what's coming up tonight in high school sports, as well as the latest on the World Series, the Kraken, and the Wenatchee Wild. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thank you very much, Grant. You got a news tip? You want to drop us a note? We'd love to hear from you. We really do. As long as you talk about how awesome we are. Go to ncwlife.com. That's our website. Click on the Contact Us icon. You can go to our Facebook page, or you can email us directly at the address that you see on your screen. When we come back, history made in Game 4 of the World Series. Highlights coming up. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel. You really are.
Hey folks, Lehman here with Crown Furniture and Mattress. Folks, there's no question if you're looking for top quality furniture and mattresses, Crown Furniture and Mattress is the place for you. Whether it's Flex Steel's patented blue steel spring, Englander's 120 years of innovation, or Stan's incredible comfort. Folks, we have it all. So stop by and see us today at 736 South Wenatchee Avenue.
Hello, television family. Grab your cup of coffee each weekday morning and join me. I'm Dan Kuntz, the host of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. It's everything you need to start your day. We're live and we're local at 7 a.m. every weekday on the NCW Life channel. It's only happened one time in World Series history, a no-hitter in the World Series. It took 4 pitchers to do it, but they did it. Houston beats Philadelphia last night, no overflow problems at all. Of course, first time since Don Larson threw the perfect game back in the 1956 World Series. Here are your highlights.
2-2. Got a chase and one gone in the 9th. Fly ball to right. On comes Tucker. He's there. Wow, he caught it about a foot off of the ground. 2 gone in the 9th inning. Real Muto. Bouncing ball to third. Picked by Bregman. Throw across in time. The Astros have a World Series no-hitter.
Pretty spectacular stuff. Christian Javier, Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, Ryan Presley. They did it. And they also won. They hit 5 home runs. Manager Dusty Baker of the Astros said it was a special night since Javier's parents were there to watch it.
I mean, the guy was cool as if it was June or July. And, that's how he is. And I was glad that I heard his mom and dad were here from Dominican. They got to see him pitch. And, it's always great when you do something in front of your folks. And, this is a world stage here. From people from all over the world are watching this. And he certainly put himself on the map.
That's the second time this season, by the way, that Philadelphia has been no-hit. But their manager says, well, bounce back because we're the Phillies.
We were no-hit earlier in the year in New York against the Mets, and we came back the next day and won. So these guys, they got a short memory, and they're going to go home tonight, and they're going to go to bed and come back in here tomorrow and prep and compete like they always do.
Game 5 tonight, 5:03 on Fox. We know now there'll be at least a Game 6 Saturday in Houston. If they need to play Game 7, and I hope they do, it'll be on Sunday. It's the final week for a lot of high school football teams. Starts tonight. The Panthers are one of those teams. They'll be in the Lilac City to take on University at 6 o'clock. Coach Scott Devereaux says preparing for the Titans has been quite the challenge this week.
Well, we have 2 really bad grainy films on them. It's looks like it's shot from the moon, basically, but they run the ball really well. They have one of the best backs in the league, at least yardage-wise. Some unorthodox formations with a tight end next to a guard and then everybody else on the other side of the ball. So very, very unbalanced. And they run it. They run it pretty good. And defensively, they get after it a little bit. They've given up probably more points than they'd like. I think that's kind of been their Achilles heel a little bit. They struggle throwing the ball a little bit. But, they'll be a good team. They've won 4 games in that league, and we definitely can't overlook them.
Yeah, University does a lot of odd fronts, and so Devereaux says he's going to take his best defensive player and move him around.
Got to adjust your front a little bit, in the secondary a little bit. We're gonna play with an extra lineman. We're going to move Evan Burdan out wide to their strong side. He's a tough dude to block, so they double team a lot. It's a lot of pin and pull, and we think moving our guys around a little bit that'll give us some benefit there.
Going to be cold and rainy in Spokane tonight, but Coach Devereaux says doesn't matter. Both teams got to play in it.
Yeah, we haven't had any bad weather this year. Besides smoke, we haven't faced a rainy game or a super cold game. This could be a little bit of everything, and just go out and compete. Tell them to dress, you bring your sleeves, and if you need them, you wear them. We're going to bring the capes for the sideline in case it gets nasty, but yeah, everyone's got to play in it, so I don't worry too much about the weather. Where I grew up, it rained all the time, and we used to think it was a benefit to us when it was pouring down rain and blowing 40, so bring it.
14 seniors on the Panthers squad will be playing their last game. That includes Charlie Jorgensen. He says, yeah, it'll be emotional tonight.
Definitely for all the seniors, it's our last game. A lot of us have played 12, 11 years, Pop Warner, NCW days. And it's been a game that I've loved to play for my entire childhood. So, yeah, it's going to be really hard to play my last one. I'm going to be proud of everyone that I've played with. I love every single one of them over there. I have individual members with all of them. I have group members with all of them. And each of them have impacted me in their own way, and I love all of them.
After graduation, Jorgensen has high aspirations. He's applied to West Point.
I am applying to the United States Military Academy this year. I've completed my application. I'm just waiting on a congressional interview with Dr. Krimshire. I'm proud of the essays I submitted to her, so I think I'll do well in the interview. I've met with the West Point Field Force throughout the last year. I know the application a little bit because both my brothers attended the United States Military Academy. One of them is still there. But yeah, I'm hopeful, and I think I have a good chance. I mean, since I was a little kid, obviously, so it's, you know, I've seen like my role models, my brother, my older brothers, they're big role models to me. I really admire them, and so I've always wanted to be an officer in the Army, and I feel that West Point, being the preeminent leadership institution, is the best path for me to get there.
Panthers and the Titans, 6 o'clock tonight. It is the 1,000th game, by the way, in Panther history. Also tonight, Ike plays at Walla Walla. We'll preview the Richland and Eastmont game here tomorrow. We have that game, of course, Eastmont and the Bombers, pregame 6:30. Eric and Grant with the call. Winner of tomorrow night's game will advance to the state. One game on tap in the Bees tonight. Chenasca will host Davenport at 6 o'clock. There are 5 games tomorrow and 2, by the way, on Saturday. The CTL and Northeast A crossover games are all tomorrow. Omak and Kashmir play at home. Quincy, Chelan, and Cascade are on the road. Okanagan wins the District 6 1B2B Soccer Championship. They blinked Tenasket last night 4-0. Brewster took third by beating Liberty Bell. For the big schools, the District 6 4A tournament gets underway tonight. Eastmont will host Ike in a loser-out game at 6. Wenatchee is on the road at West Valley for the championship game at 6. The two teams met twice during the regular season. West Valley won both. District volleyball continues for the B schools in Omak and Wenatchee tonight. Brewster takes on Okanagan at Omak High School, and the other semi has Manson at Lake Roosevelt. And then Wilson Creek will take on Waterville-Mansfield in the small gym at Wenatchee High School for third place. And at the same time, in the big gym, it's Andy Adam Moses Lake Christian for the district championship. The Seattle Kraken will try to make it 3 in a row. They're in St. Paul to take on Minnesota at the XL Energy Center. It is the Kraken and the Wild, but no, not the Wenatchee Wild. Speaking of the Wenatchee Wild, they're back on the ice tomorrow night at the Town Theater Center. They got the Merritt Centennials. There'll be a video tribute to the late, great Arch Ecker after tomorrow night's game. And finally, the best thing you'll see all week. This is really cool. In last Friday's football game, between the freshman football game, I should say, between Wenatchee and West Valley, a special moment was reserved at the end of the game for a special player with the Rams. Wenatchee coach Scott Devereaux explains what happened.
It was late in the game, but yeah, they had a special needs kid, and the coaches decided, you know, they'd let the kid run the ball and score, and happened to be like a 90-yard touchdown, and it was cool, very cool. It's the stuff that you hope you see in high school sports.
Gilbert, 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 oh, yeah. Run, Gilbert, run! Run!
That was pretty cool. We were there to see it. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 28 minutes after the hour. For the Obscura holiday, we want to thank John Montagu, the 4th Earl of Sandwich, the man credited with inventing the sandwich. In the mid-18th century, he was a big-time gambler, and he was in a big-time poker game, and he didn't want to leave the game to go have dinner, so he told his butler, bring me a hunk of meat and put it between 2 pieces of bread so I could eat with one hand and gamble with the other. Thus was born the sandwich. And I don't know what metric they used, but I went online to find the 10 most popular sandwiches in America. Again, I don't know what they used to measure this, but here you go. Number 10, the hoagie. Number 9, the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Number 8, the Cuban sandwich. I love those. Number 7, what's gone very popular lately, avocado on toast. I guess that's a sandwich. Number 6, the club sandwich. Number 5, the lobster roll. Oh, I love a lobster roll. 4th most popular sandwich, the good old-fashioned Philadelphia cheesesteak. Number 3, the old roast beef sandwich. I suppose French dip is allowed in that. Number 2nd most popular sandwich is another one I just love, the Reuben. And the most popular sandwich in America, and again, I don't know what metric they used, the good old-fashioned BLT, which is what I had for lunch yesterday. Happy National Sandwich Day. Today, it's the bottom of the hour. Today in history, here we are in November, so we're doing presidential elections, and this is the anniversary of the 1908 presidential election, with Republican William Howard Taft of Ohio defeating William Jennings Bryan of Nebraska to be elected the 27th president of the United States. Taft won all 39 counties in Washington state, easily carried both Chelan and Douglas County. He got 60% of the vote in Chelan County. William Howard Taft did. He got 52% of the vote in Douglas County. And this amazing fact, this is the only presidential election where more people in Douglas County voted than in Chelan County. And I thought that's interesting. I went back and looked, and sure enough, just like it is now, Chelan County has twice as many people than Douglas County and has about twice as many registered voters as Douglas County, and yet Douglas County had a bigger turnout and more voters in 1908. I found out why. It took me a while, too. There was an influenza outbreak in Wenatchee in 1908, and a lot of people were too sick to go to the polls to vote. Go figure. This is the 86th anniversary of the landslide for FDR. He defeated Alf Landon of Kansas. It wasn't too hard. Alf Landon had the personality of a toaster. Roosevelt won every state in the Union except Maine and Vermont. He had 523 electoral votes. 98.5% of the electoral votes went to Roosevelt, which was the all-time record. And his 66.38% is the best ever achieved by a Democrat in this state. And FDR had no problems winning both Chelan and Douglas County. 60% of the vote in Chelan County for FDR. 66% of the vote in Douglas County went to FDR in 1936. November 3rd, 1964, Lyndon Johnson wins the presidency in his own right, easily defeating Barry Goldwater of Arizona. He had 61.1% of the popular vote, which is the largest share of the popular vote in any election in modern time. The most recent election, this is the most recent election, the 1964 election, 58 years ago today, is the most recent election that a Democrat won both Chelan and Douglas counties. And LBJ won both Chelan and Douglas counties easily. And no Democrat has won both counties since. November 3rd, 1992, Democrat Bill Clinton of Arkansas beats the sitting president, George H.W. Bush, and Ross Perot to win the presidency. In Chelan County, Bush got 46% of the vote, Clinton 33%, Perot got 20% of the vote, Perot got 21% of the vote. In Douglas County, the 1992 presidential election, this is the second anniversary of Joe Biden defeating Donald Trump to be elected the 46th president of the United States. Electoral vote, Biden 306, Trump 232. Joe Biden defeated Donald Trump in the city of Wenatchee by 67 votes. Joe Biden carried all the precincts in Wenatchee. He won the Wenatchee vote by 67 votes. And by the way, 81 million people voted for the Biden-Harris ticket, and it was the largest voter turnout by percentage since 1900. And finally, today in history, two absolute baseball travesties occurred on this date. In 1934, Lou Gehrig won the Triple Crown of Major League Baseball. Not just the American League, but all of Major League Baseball. He led majors, Lou Gehrig did, in 1934. He batted .363, had 49 home runs and 165 RBIs, one of the greatest seasons any player ever had. Lou Gehrig in 1934. Mickey Cochran of the A's batted .320. He had 2 home runs and 75 RBIs. So who's voted the American League Most Valuable Player in 1934? Mickey Cochran. Lou Gehrig finished 5th. The guy won the Triple Crown in Major League Baseball and got 5th in the MVP voting. And the same thing happened just a few years later. On this date in 1942, Ted Williams won the Triple Crown in 1942 for all of Major League Baseball. He won the Triple Crown, one of the great seasons ever. Joe Gordon of the New York Yankees, he led the American League in strikeouts. He grounded into 22 double plays, Joe Gordon did, and he had the most errors by any second baseman. So who wins the 1942 American League Most Valuable Player? Joe Gordon. He won the Triple Crown, Ted Williams did. Didn't even get the MVP. One baseball legend to celebrate birthdays, and we'll move forward. The heater from Van Meter. Bob Feller was born in the state in 1918, died in 2010 at the age of 92. Both Ted Williams and Joe DiMaggio called him the best pitcher they ever faced. He was known for his electrically fast fastball. He was also a fan favorite. The fans loved him. He would sign baseballs. In fact, the old joke is Bob Feller signed so many baseballs in his lifetime, it was harder to find a baseball that wasn't signed by Bob Feller, and he gave up 4 years of his prime to serve his country in World War II. The great Bob Feller. Going to take a break. Got an opinion from my Mad Dog McNaughty, and we're talking Wenatchee Wild hockey for the first time since they started playing. David Rayfield will talk about the promotions that'll be happening tomorrow night, and then the brand new voice of the Wenatchee Wild, Austin Drowdy, will join me as well. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life Channel.
Did you know that nearly 50% of pet poisoning cases involve human medications and prescription drugs? Sometimes the culprit's a curious dog, but cats get into their share of trouble as well. Other times, pet owners mistakenly give their pets their own medications that are safe to people but toxic to their pets. Dr. Shauna Baez and her staff care about your pets. Go to pawsandclawsvh.com for a complete list of medications to avoid or call 888-PAWS.
Hi, my car's making a funny noise.
Not a problem. We'll take care of you.
Global Car Care's technicians are ASE Master Techs and well-versed in the more refined methods of vehicular diagnostics.
Number 3 piston and rings have a slight loss of compression, down to 108 pounds. Your transmission is slipping. You're going to need a service.
Looks like you all set.
These guys? They're good.
Oh, and your spare is flat.
Global Car Care, Wenatchee's top shop.
This is Mike, Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Liz Cheney, whether you like her or not, that woman is an inspiring example of the courage it takes to do what's right, even when it costs you personally. She has spoken the truth in calling out Donald Trump as a threat to the democracy of this republic, and yes, he is. And her voting to impeach Donald Trump, which went against the grain of the Republican Party, which she says has become a cult of personality, and her action was heroic. Now, we need more people like her on both sides of the political spectrum. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Election season is heating up, and the NCW Life channel is putting local candidates in the hot seat. Join us starting at 8 a.m. Sunday as we interview the contenders for Chelan County Sheriff and the Chelan County Board of Commissioners. Tune in for these in-depth conversations so you can vote with confidence. That's 8 a.m. Sunday and again throughout the week on the NCW Life channel.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee, a place for the entire family. Open daily for lunch and dinner. We use only the finest ingredients, prepared fresh when you order. The full menu includes your choice of over 20 gourmet beef or chicken burgers. And catch your favorite game in their full-service lounge while sipping on an ice-cold beer. Bob's Burgers and Brew, fast, friendly service. We will see you there.
Welcome back to the program. I always love it when I have a chance to sit down with David Rayfield after he does his little stunt, which is sleeping out on the balcony of the Town Toyota Center next to the Loge. And I say that in all sincerity because it means you lived through it.
Yeah, we made a really crazy goal this year of 1,000 tickets. And, you know, I had goals of 3 days and 2 nights, and that didn't happen. But we ended up reaching the goal of 1,000 tickets, but it took me till Friday at 3 o'clock. So I spent 5 days and 4 nights out on the balcony of the Town Toyota Center, but it was for a great cause. I'm happy to be able to give back to the Thomas A. Biddle Foundation and the Vets Hall. So we'll have a lot of people in the building on that Military Appreciation Night, November 12th. So we're excited about that. But now that I'm off the balcony, I'm printing those tickets, getting them out there, and planning for this Friday. So there's no breaks.
5 days, 4 nights. At any point, like towards the end of it, were you going, this just isn't worth it? I mean, I don't want pneumonia. Was there any thought of I was saying, you know what? 700 is a good goal, too.
Yeah, no, it was never, is it worth it? It is, can I do it? You know, Tuesday was a really bad day. The lowest sales I've ever had out there on the balcony. I think we're under 50 tickets. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to get this done. But as always, the Valley rallied behind me, and people got to calling other people and saying, hey, help this guy out. Get some tickets to your employees. So it ended up happening, and I'm very excited to have gone home Friday evening.
So November 12th is Military Appreciation Night, but before that's jumping ahead.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. Let's talk about the Centennials are coming to town. We just have one game this weekend, Friday night.
Yep.
Here at the Town Toyota Center. Again, Merritt in town, but you still got a lot of things for the folks to do pre-game, post-game, and between periods.
Yeah, this is a really fun night sponsored by Giesa Credit Union, where they sponsor our Shoot for Cash, where teachers get to go out and shoot from different distances for their share of $5,000. So we have 6 local schools competing this year, so everyone's going to get a good chunk of change, and then they just sell tickets to the students to come cheer them on. And Giesa's doing lots of giveaways at their booth, doing Crazy Wig giveaways again. So it'll be a really fun, localized night with our teachers in town. We have representatives from Eniac, Cashmere, Eastmont, Wenatchee, and yeah, a few from Eastmont and a few from Wenatchee. So we're excited to get that one underway.
In your role of coming up with promotions, does the creative well sometimes run dry? I mean, there are promotions that work every year, and you always do it. Guns and Hoses, Pink at the Rink, those are longtime staples. But then you have to come up with some new stuff just to keep things. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, exactly. And we meet as a team every year throughout the summer and kind of pick through our theme nights and go, okay, what was a hit? What was a miss? What should we try again? Or what should we just get rid of? So, you know, we're bringing back Star Wars Night this year. That was really good a couple years ago. We're bringing back Daddy-Daughter Night, which was really good a couple years ago, and just kind of see how they perform in this new climate. And sometimes we sweep some other ones under the rug and say, well, see you later. So, yeah, it's kind of just rinse and repeat until you find a good 26 themes. We're one of the few teams that try to theme every game. So
we had a chance earlier in this interview to meet Arch Ecker's replacement. With all due respect to Sean Ziers, who did a wonderful job, and we really like Sean. I understand he's going to be coming to town, I hope, so we can catch up with Sean Ziers. Austin is now in Arch's big shoes, but they have one more significant business for Arch, and that's also going to be on Friday night.
Yeah, this coming Friday would have been Arch's 1,500th game, so pretty big milestone if you're calling games, and I know Arch was tracking that, so a lot of people were wondering why we didn't do anything opening night. We did our moment of silence, but we really wanted to honor him on that 1,500th game. So we've had people be submitting video clips, and we're going to be doing a video following the game to honor him. So if you were a friend of Arch or new Arch, please either submit or please come to the game and help us in that moment to honor him.
Yeah, it's probably a little too late at this point in the game as we air this to submit a video to get it edited together. It takes time to edit and render a video, but that's going to be an emotional night for a lot of folks.
Yeah, it was definitely, so was home opener. It was, you know, you try to treat it like a normal game, but it wasn't. You're missing somebody that was a big part of the game day, just our staff in general before his accident, and yeah, he's missed, and it's going to be a hard night.
He will be missed, but kudos to the Wild family and to the Whites and everybody, because having a chance with Arch's sister being in town quite a bit, she's very appreciative of the Wild family and what they did for her brother.
Perfect.
Over that long struggle.
His band will be singing the Canadian anthem opening night, or that night. So that'll be a lot of fun to have them tribute that to him. So
Arch would have liked that.
He sure would have.
David Rayfield, again, all the promotions on the Wenatchee Wild website. Get your tickets in advance. It's really the best way to do it. Don't have to stand in line outside and go inside. You can pick some pretty darn nice seats, enjoy the promotions, and this will be a regular, we'll get together whenever we have a homestand. Sounds good, David?
Sounds good. I'll look forward to next week then.
All right. David Rayfield, alive. A little frostbitten, but alive. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a 4-letter word. I think we should hire more people.
Doc, late for a meeting.
Hey, we need to build a home office. We're adding another bathroom.
We need a warehouse.
I can't imagine how we do that.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank. Privately owned, locally invested.
When your heating or cooling system is giving you trouble, call the diagnostic doctor from Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning.
Here's the culprit right here.
All joking aside, when you call Dick's, you're calling 35 years of experience at customer service right here in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's strongly believes in repairing before replacing, and they service all major brands of HVAC units. Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're here in the loge of the Town Toyota Center. The Zambonis are hummed up. And come Friday night, the Merritt Centennials will be in town. It's just one game only this weekend. But as we mentioned before, the Wenatchee Wild schedule is really top-heavy. A lot of early games on the road and a lot of home games on a lot of Fridays and Saturdays in February and March, which is nice. That's what you want. We lost Art Jecker, as you know by now. He had the accident. He was recovering. He had the sudden cardiac arrest. We lost Art. Sean Ziers filled in for a little while. Kudos to Sean. Time moves on. There's not much we can do about that, although we love Arch and miss Arch. We have a new guy, and we'd like to introduce to the Wenatchee Valley. Austin, introduce yourself to the Wenatchee Valley.
Well, thank you. Austin Droughty, brand new media relations broadcast manager for the Wenatchee Wild, coming in after 9 years in the North American Hockey League with the North Iowa Bulls. So first time in Washington State, first time in Canada this past weekend at Prince George. So blessed to be here. Excited to take on the role.
Little background about you, your history, your interest in hockey, your broadcasting career. I'll let you give me a little job application, if you will.
Well, the interest in hockey probably started when I was young enough to step on, 3-4 years old. I was raised in Des Moines, Iowa. My dad took me to a ton of hockey games as a kid. I could take you to the spot in the arena where I first became a hockey fan. We sat in the same section every time. And got into broadcasting in college. Was interested in it well before, but finally got to do it in college, and actually got into hockey broadcasting almost by accident. Was working for a radio station up in northern Iowa, and we covered everything. We covered wrestling, baseball, basketball, you name it. The only sport we probably didn't cover was hockey. So I sent an email on a free weekend toward the end of the season to our head coach up there, Todd Sandin, and I said, hey, I work for the radio station nearby. I've been a hockey fan since I was a kid. We don't cover hockey. Would you mind if I came to a couple of games this coming weekend, strap myself to a tape recorder, and kind of see what I've got to work with? And I got an email back from him within 24 hours saying, thanks for sending me this. Our regular guy is going to be gone at a wedding on Saturday night. Can you do the game for real? So Friday night I got a practice run. Saturday night I did the real thing, and did my 300th junior game on Saturday night up in Prince George. So 9.5 years later, here we are, and sitting up here in the loge at Town Toyota Center visiting with you folks.
And you mentioned northern Iowa, which is, of course, where the old showcase used to be, not the showcase, but the big championship back in when the Wild was in the league that you just mentioned. Now, of course, in the British Columbia Hockey League, but before that, they were in the North American Hockey League. So you had some semblance of the team, I suppose, in that respect. Because I think their first or second year they made it all the way to Clear Lake, Iowa.
Yeah, that was I believe the first year for Wenatchee. The Outlaws at the time were the team in North Iowa. They hosted the Robertson Cup at what we called the Barn in 2009. It is an actual barn. They have livestock shows in there 6 months out of the year, and now host livestock shows all year round with the ice being out of there. So that was I believe the first year that the Wenatchee Wild were in existence, and a great start for the team, to be sure.
So you went from Iowa to Prince George. I mean, talk about going right into the fire, my friend. This is the longest bus ride that the Wild have to take all year. It's 600 miles one way, and you had to move with your family from Iowa before you even. What's the last couple of weeks been like? Just whirlwind?
It's been a whirlwind. A whirlwind is probably a good way to put it. Started a couple of weeks ago on that Friday night, started out in northern Iowa, got out here last Sunday evening, and Thursday morning, hopped the bus to Prince George. So within the span of a week, one way, I covered probably 2,400 miles. And it's a whirlwind, but it's something you'll never forget.
We lost our checker, who was the voice of the Wild for about 5 years. Sean Ziers filled in. Professionally speaking, for Sean, and family reasons, it just wasn't going to be able to be a full-time job. Your job is a full-time job. Media relations, play-by-play, press releases, everything. Talk about the marriage between you, Austin, and the Wenatchee Wild. How did that come to be?
Well, it actually started with an email that I got on a Friday afternoon. It was the last day of September. That this job was open. I get job lead emails a few times a week from an agency I'm affiliated with. And this one was part of that email. I got it on Friday, and I thought, you know, Fridays are busy for us broadcasters, so I thought, well, shoot. I'll sit on this one for a little bit. Our home opener with North Iowa was the next night, and I'll get back to it first thing Monday morning and put in for it and see what happens. Got the application put together that first thing Monday morning, and I got to the end of the email where I thought, okay, who would be a good person to have them call and talk about me? And it was Sean Ziers. And I got in touch with him. I thought, if Sean's putting in for this, he's going to be on the first plane up here. We're not even having this conversation. He'd be the guy for this job. He'd be the perfect guy for it. And I got a hold of him. I said, are you putting in for this? He said, I'm not, for all the reasons that you mentioned. And I said, would you be willing to put in a good word for me? He said, absolutely. So I got an email back from, that went in mid-morning out here, right about noontime out in Iowa. I got the email back from Bliss a couple of hours later that said, is there a good time to visit with you later this week? We had the interview 10 o'clock Wednesday morning, Iowa time. And I got a phone call. I actually was on the phone with my dad, filling him in on how things were going at noon. And it was Bliss calling back to offer the job. So we went from the beginning of the interview to the end of the job search in about 2 hours.
You applied for the job assuming that if they're going to offer you the job, you're going to take it, right?
Yep.
So this was exciting, nervous?
All of the above.
Okay. Do you, is there a hockey announcer that you like to emulate? Somebody who, boy, I hope I can be as good as this guy, or are you just going to be Austin calling the game as you see it with your own style and your own panache?
I think a lot of hockey announcers, and I'm included in this, want to be. Doc Emmerich comes to mind with the vocabulary, the way he describes a game. That's something that I really go for, the descriptiveness. A few other guys that I really follow are actually guys that I've met over time. Ben Gislason is a good friend of mine who works for the Iowa Wild back in Des Moines. Actually played for Coach Sandin back in North Iowa when he was up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. And he's a guy that I really listen to, really respect. Joe O'Donnell, who's now with the Minnesota Wild, and probably Pat Foley, who was with the Chicago Blackhawks. Just some of the styles and mannerisms that they have kind of crept in over the years.
Since you're calling a hockey game on radio, now granted some people are going to be watching the stream on Hockey TV, but for the most part, you are describing the action to somebody who's actually not seeing the action. Is it hard not to overcall a game because you're calling the game for a radio audience as opposed to somebody who's actually seen the game?
If you're calling the game for TV, it can be. It's very easy to do that. I usually aim for the radio call simply because of the fact that there is an option to just listen to the game, and I want to make sure those listeners have the full experience.
A couple more questions and we'll cut you loose. How, I know it's early. What are your impressions so far of the Pacific Northwest and the Wenatchee Valley?
It's beautiful up here. Everything that I was talking with so many people, they said, congratulations on the new gig. You're going to love it up there. It's gorgeous. And that might be an understatement. It's been fantastic up here. Getting to know the area has been wonderful. Everybody up here has been very welcoming, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be part of this.
One last little question, and then we'll cut you loose. I know you've only called a couple of games. Wild had two really tough losses to Prince George. 1-goal game and then a 1-goal game, which is so frustrating. Because just any little thing, a little bounce off the wall could make all the difference off the boards. Just the first couple of games that you've called, what do you think?
It's a fast game. It's a very wide open game. There is some physicality to it, but probably not as much as I've seen in the North American League. Very exciting style of hockey. It's a style of hockey that folks here in the Wenatchee Valley are going to want to come out and see. And it was a rough game on Friday night. Great first half of the game, and then things kind of got away the second half. Saturday night's game, just a couple of bounces that didn't go the Wild's way. Probably the first 4 minutes didn't get off to a great start, but sometimes you got to credit the other team for having a hot goaltender, and Jordan Fairley was that hot goaltender on Saturday night.
Well, you fell into the lap of one of the best organizations in the BCHL. They're a class act. The Whites are a great ownership group. You get to work with the Littlers. You get to work with some really cool people. I think you're going to like what we hope to be a long and fruitful stay here in the Wenatchee Valley, Austin.
It's off to a good start.
And you and I will be visiting quite a bit between now and hopefully deep into the playoffs. If it works out that way. Nice meeting you, my friend. Go Wild! And we'll be right back. Beaver Valley Lodge in Leavenworth is located on 50 acres set in a quiet country atmosphere with historic farm feel and charm. It's sure to make your stay one to remember. Beaver Valley Lodge offers a variety of overnight accommodations for groups large and small that range from rooms for 2 to 4 people to entire vacation homes with all the space you'll need for a reunion, a retreat, or a wedding. Book your stay at Beaver Valley Lodge, where you'll come as a guest and leave as a friend.
Mary Maids of Wenatchee believes a clean home is a happy home. Mary Maids provides holiday cleaning services to cheer about. Don't let the seasonal cleaning ruin the festive fun. Mary Maids can simplify your life at a great value. It's never too soon to start planning a holiday-perfect home. Mary Maids of Wenatchee happily offers a worry-free guarantee. Locally owned and operated, let Mary Maids do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Call Mary Maids today.
Fall has arrived and Collins Fashions is your headquarters for cozy warm sweaters and jackets. Holiday attire so sparkling and glamorous from Joseph Ribkoff and Frank Lyman. We have soft sweaters from Karen Kane, Tribal, Charlie B, and Ken Ross Cashmere. New jeans and all washes and styles just for you from Jag, Cut, Liverpool. New fall Brighton handbags and styles and colors in sable and chili pepper. And ladies, it's time to fill out your wish list at Collins Fashions, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa today.
Badger Mountain Brewery is your cure for boredom. Jam Night Mondays. Trivia Wednesdays. Live Music Fridays. And Sunday Brunch. There's always something brewing at Badger Mountain, so come join the party.
Gorgeous view, beautiful sunrise going on right now, but it is cold. Unless you park in a garage or have a carport, you're probably going to be hitting the old defroster this morning, folks. It's 27 degrees in the Wenatchee Valley, 21 in Moses Lake. It is 23 in Ephrata. Up in Chelan, you're at 30 degrees. Cashmere, we'll give Cashmere a little love, too. You're at 28 in Cashmere. All right, get ready for some crazy weather, folks. First of all, the first snow of the season is coming tonight into Friday morning. Here in the Wenatchee Valley, we're going to be fine. As you can see in the Columbia River Valley, it's pretty plain by that, what you see graphically wise. No snow, but in the upper part of the Columbia Basin, a little bit of light snow. Mountain Pass is going to get hit pretty good. Stevens, 6 to 8 inches of snow tonight, and then a heavy rain on Stevens on Friday, and then back to snow on Saturday and Saturday night and right on into Sunday. Windy? Yeah, let's go ahead and throw that in. For the Wenatchee Valley, it's going to get windy on Friday afternoon, and by Friday night, just in time for the kickoff, it'll be picking up in intensity. Now, this is your wind gust forecast. This is sustained winds. This is gusts. This is going to be plenty gusty for most folks. And again, the wind will really be kicking in right after sunset Tomorrow night's going to be windy right on into Saturday, and then it gets cold. And I mean really cold. We're looking at high temperatures only around freezing. High temperatures around freezing next week. From the National Weather Service, it looks something like this. Not a bad day today. In fact, this is the last nice day, 47 for our high today. Rain tonight, lots of it. Rain Friday, lots of it. Maybe a half an inch of rain. And then we get cold, cold, cold Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's it for us. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.